you wanna die with me, as if we're going to die, as if you're gonna die with me, as if we're going to die. The less you have, the more you need it. Hello, I'm going to talk about identity crisis. Yeah, which comes up very often for me. I tend to have one whenever I'm procrastinating, essentially. If I've got an assignment due or something, I'll be like, but my assignment pales in comparison to the fact that I don't know who I am. Should I even be doing, yeah, it's usually, yeah, of course I should do this assignment, but should I even be doing this degree? Should I even be alive? These are the questions I need to be asking. The being alive one doesn't actually come up all that often for me these days. But I imagine the people watching this tend to be creative people of some variety. Cool if you're not. Really cool. But I feel like just by being interested in creative stuff like this, in a sense you're creative even if you're not sort of actively creative. There are people like, there's a guy, Chris Williamson, whose podcast Modern Wisdom I'm really into at the moment. And he doesn't, as far as I know, really produce much art or anything like that, anything creative, but he's clearly a creative person in the way he thinks. He appreciates art, he feels things deeply, he asks wonderful questions, and I feel like that's a lot of where his creativity is in conversation. Anyway, that aside, I certainly am a creative person, and I think almost by necessity that coincides with a great questioning, because to be creative is to question the status quo and try something else, because creativity tends to be the creation of something new. It's not just builders of pre-designed houses don't tend to get called creative. Maybe they should, I don't know. We can discuss down there if you want, because certainly that kind of behavior needs to be valued and is also kind of technically creative. If you make a house, you have created a house, I think. But you haven't invented the house, and somehow the person who invented the house gets to be called creative and the person who makes one doesn't. Anyway, I'm creative, and I'm always questioning my identity, and my identity is quite broad. I think everyone's is broader than they might realize, but certainly I'm an artist and musician and psychology student and fiance and son. I'm not the son, but I am two people's son and cousin, and I play lots of roles. I'm a cook. When I cook dinner, I'm not a great cook, but I'm a cook. And so there are all these things that kind of build up to make you you, and you tend to identify more with some of them and less with others. For example, I'm a person who gets in a bad temper. I don't like to think of myself that way, but I actually think I'm very slightly unusually angry. Maybe I'm working through some stuff, I'm not sure. But I think I might just have a lot of that energy, that angry energy, and when things are going well, it tends to come out in creative output. I can create aggressive characters or sounds, or write angry or aggressive sort of poetry, and that. I guess I shouldn't really conflate anger and aggression, but that's what I'm doing right now. Interesting. I don't really know what my point is. I finished an assignment today, so once again I'm kind of fried, but I'd be interested in hearing from people in the comments if you too feel pulled in lots of directions. For example, I could dedicate my life, I could make a decision to quit my psychology degree, which is always a temptation, and commit more wholeheartedly to the pursuit of my music career and just spend as much time as I can really building that business. But I found the reason I started the degree was that I found that when I was given that extra time previously, or I gave myself that extra time, it was during lockdown, so maybe it's an exceptional situation, I'm not sure. I had all this extra time, and I couldn't find a way to catalyze that the energy necessary to be involved for like many hours a day in just pushing my career forward. And that's why I started the psych degree, because I realized I had this other energy that would do a lot. I wouldn't say do anything, but give a great deal to get to be in a room and help people sort of live out the story that a story with a happy ending, or the happiest ending we can manage together, which is usually happier than a story managed alone, I reckon. And so yeah, I'm at that crossroads, and I've always been at that crossroads, and I'm coming up. I'm gonna finish my degree at the end of the year. Just this grad dip, and I'm not sure when I finish whether it'll enhance my chances to get into honours if I apply immediately, but then I wonder if it would also force me to get started immediately or very soon, which sounds terrifying to me. I would love at very least a year, but I think if I could go hard 2 years in Paris just working on my business, I think that might be the time for me to do it. But it would be really sad to have to like restart, like redo this education. That seems almost unthinkable, how hard that would be for me, considering it's so hard. It's desperately hard for me to do this uni work as it is. So tell me what you think I should do if you want. But yeah, I think probably in various ways we're always pulled in many directions, no matter what walk of life we're in. Maybe some exceptions are if you find yourself, single and all your friends are at work, and you seem to be able to sustain relationships with them and with yourself, be satisfied by just pursuing a career, say, and just not really having a home life or anything, not even, or like maybe you can incorporate your relationship with food, say, into your work life. You get meals with your work and then you keep working, something like that. I don't know. Maybe that's a way that you can be one-dimensional. I think it's a little harder going in what I feel like is a contrasting direction, being very family oriented. So if you're like a stay-at-home parent, because family is so rich and broad, it seems that way to me. Maybe that's just my bias, and maybe I would do very well in that situation. I really hope so. I have no idea. We'll find out, I suppose. We may find out. I'm not sure I'll ever be exclusively a stay-at-home parent. In fact, I kind of hope I won't. I like having a great broad range of activities, but it might be like my primary occupation at some point. But yeah, even if that is your only thing, I feel like you might have several kids, or you just have a lot of different duties. Whereas maybe if you trade stocks, I think even then you got to pay attention to you can benefit by paying attention to the news and all sorts of things happening. So now that I think about it, pretty much any profession has the capacity to be infinitely broad and rich and deep. So, but it might, its richness and depth might not be relevant. It might not pull you in different directions, because you can just kind of declare, or you can arrange your identity to be without conflict, to be, I'm a work person, this is my work, and it's very rich, but that's what I do. Whereas I have this problem of being a student is quite different to writing music, which is quite different to having a rich family life, and all these things I I really want to do and want to do well and want to spend as much time as I can doing. Maybe not the student stuff. I tend to minimize my hours doing that. I think I'm done talking about this. I hope it gives you some kind of insight or catharsis or something. Sorry if it doesn't. Like, subscribe. You can follow me on Insta, or no one says Insta anymore. On the gram, Facebook. I've got a Patreon if you're interested. I started a Discord, but I might actually change it for something else. But join the Discord and I'll notify you about it if you want to be on, if I'm moving platforms. I've got a mailing list, but I have this list of people who I email occasionally, and I haven't made it very easy to put your email in and join. So I'll do up my website in the next few weeks. I'll be on holiday in a week and a bit, so join my mailing list if you're reading this more than a week since the video is put out. I think that's everything. Be good to those you love, eat good food, get outside. Lots of love.
Smile. Hell, I'm gonna smile with you, as if we're going to die, as if I'm gonna die with you, as if we're going to die, as if you're gonna die with